Binomial distributions are a distribution of counts, which is the number of successes in a certain number of trials. Some of the probability problems fit to be binomial distributions and some do not. In order to identify if a problem is a binomial distribution, we check if it fits. F stands for fixed number of trials. I stands for independent, which means each trial is independent of the other. T stands for two mutually exclusive outcomes, which means two outcomes cannot happen at the same time. S stands for same probability of successes for all the trials. This is the formula for binomial distributions, where n is the number of trials and k is the number of successes. Let's look at some problems. Let's say in a town there are two policemen working. They randomly stop cars to check if the drivers are wearing seatbelts or not. In this town, 10% of the drivers do not wear seatbelts. What is the probability that in 10 randomly selected cars, 2 of the car drivers are not wearing seatbelts? This is a binomial PDF problem because it has a specific number of successes. The probability of x equal to 2 is 0.1937. Calculator and press second bars, go down to A, put in number of trials is 10, probability is 0.1, and the x value is 2. But the policemen also want to know what the probability that out of the 10 randomly selected cars, at most 4 drivers are not wearing seatbelts. This is a binomial CDF problem because it wants to know the sum of the probabilities of x equaling 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go on your calculator and press second bars. This time go down to B. The trials is still 10, the probability is still 0.1, and the x value is 4. The probability of x being less than or equal to 4 is 0.9984. Lastly, what is the probability that out of the 10 randomly selected cars, at least one car driver is not wearing a seatbelt? This is also a CDF problem, but this time it wants to know the sum of the probability of x being greater than or equal to 1, which means 1 minus the probability of x equals 0. On your calculator, press 1 minus, and then second bars go down to B. Trial is still 10, probability is still 0.1, the x value is 0. Paste, and the probability of x being greater than or equal to 1 equals 0.6513. And this is our lesson on binomial distributions.